are live for episode 37 of Boxing Fanatico Live. Thank you for coming through, guys. Today we have somewhat of a sad story. Let's go ahead and switch to my face. What is going on, everybody? Of course, we got to start off with Hashim with the Let's Go Champ and Michael Buffer to start it off. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I can't hear you.
Let's get ready to rumble.
There you go. Let's go. Hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. We got Adrian Dones here as well. Salute Fanatico and Hugh Jakes, the member. What's good, my brother Fanatico? What's going on? Hugh Jakes. Let's hit you with the member real quick. All right, we are here. Now, let's talk about mandatory statuses. Devin Haney has dodged a bullet. For now, it is very clear to me that he is not going to fight Shakur Stevenson. So if you had the hopes that Devin Haney was going to fight Shakur Stevenson, the newest reports that have just come out should definitely bury those hopes deep into the ground. Definitely bury those hopes deep into the ground. Guys, hit the like if you're here, please. We're going to go ahead and show it. We're going to go ahead and show the reports, how it came in. However, he still has to make a decision, by the way, guys. He has until next Thursday because there was an appeal put in, not just by him. There was an appeal also put in by Regis Prograis for him to extend his WBC title in terms of making the decision of what he's going to do next. And why would Regis Prograis help him extend and put in an appeal? Why do you think he would help him? For one reason and one reason only. As a franchise champion, those are perks that Canelo has and Devin Haney has, because unlike people like that just hated Lomachenko, they felt that the franchise belt was not a real belt. Well, guess what? Devin Haney holds the franchise belt. He holds the franchise belt and he holds the perks that the franchise belt affords him. And what is one of those perks? That you can move up in weight and fight and become mandatory. You can skip the line to fight a Regis Prograis. So he doesn't want to get his belt stripped, because that would not give him the ability to just immediately, without any red tape at all, become mandatory for Regis Prograis' belt. And Regis Prograis doesn't want him to lose the belt because he wants to fight him. So basically, we've hit a place where the clear, like, no matter what they say in the public, the clear background work or contract negotiation is Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis. For Regis Prograis to be part of a double appeal to extend while they negotiate, it is clear as day to me that Devin Haney and Regis Prograis is the next fight, guys. That is the next fight that we're going to get. And just so that you guys can see it on your end, from the reports, let's go ahead and switch over to picture-in-picture so we can show it on here as well. Make sure my logo is up there at the top. All right. So WBC extends deadline for Devin Haney to decide between 135 and 140 for next fight. Now, Devin Haney, the deadline was today. It was today, but it has been extended. Devin Haney will have a few more days to decide on his next fight. A 6-day extension was granted by the WBC Board of Governors for Haney to commit to either defend his undisputed lightweight champion or challenge for the 140-pound crown. The sanctioned body confirmed. The ruling came just hours before the originally imposed deadline for Haney to inform all parties of his This decision, and here's how I know that they're working on a Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis fight. The decision was supported by a dual appeal filed by Haney and WBC junior welterweight titleist Regis Prograis, as their teams remain in talks for a potential showdown later this fall. So those are the two guys that are going to fight. They want him to hold on to the title, so there's no red tape when he moves up to 140, so he could go immediately and fight Regis Prograis this year. If he doesn't hold on to that title and he moves up, there might be red tape there. He might have to go through an appeal process or a mandatory petition process. Somebody might pass him in the rankings. There's so many things that could happen. You want to hold on to that franchise belt perk, and you don't want to lose the belt. So both of those parties did a double appeal, which basically means they're gonna fight each other. There's no doubt in my mind they're gonna fight each other, and we will know by Thursday, July 27th, and I bet you around that time, or a few days before, we're gonna hear Regis Prograis versus Devin Haney has been announced. I'm almost guaranteeing it. WBC Board of Governors has granted a petition by both Regis Prograis and Devin Haney until next Thursday, July 27th of July. The WBC announced Friday via social media. Friday's ruling trumps a prior call to action for Haney to inform if he will, they wrote it wrong, remain at lightweight, where the WBC named Shakur Stevenson as its mandatory challenger. So now, look, this is what's going to happen, by the way. And what's going on, Shane Bosey? This is what's going to happen. If Shakur Stevenson doesn't get a Devin Haney fight, he's going to get the next best thing at lightweight, or one of the next best things at lightweight. He's going to get Lomachenko, because Lomachenko will be number one mandatory. So Lomachenko will be fighting Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson for the WBC title at 135. And Devin Haney's going to be moving up. So we're probably not going to see another Shakur versus Devin Haney in a long time. And the reason I say we're probably not going to see it in a long time, because once Devin Haney moves up, he ain't moving back down. So once he moves up to 140, I'm sure that Shakur Stevenson wants to become undisputed at 135. He's going to become undisputed at 135, and then he's going to move up to 140. By that time, has Devin Haney lost a fight? Has a luster come off of it? Because he's going to be at 140. There's only so long he could be at 140 without trying to fight, Teofimo Lopez. That's going to be a scary fight for him. Is he going to win that fight? What's going to happen if Shakur Stevenson moves up to 140? Is he going to move up to 147? Right? We don't know. So right now it's looking really grim for Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson in the near future. Maybe later down the line, but in the near future it's looking really, really grim. Let me see what you guys are saying. Let's switch over to my face. And I still got the memo up there. You, Jake, we love you. All right, let's switch that back. Okay, let's go over here. Shane Bosey, what's going on, man? What's up? All right, so I kind of figured that this was going to happen. I had my fingers crossed that maybe, he was going to decide, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and flank the world. Let me like, I had like 2% in my heart. 2% in my heart that he was going to go, you know what? Let me go ahead and pull a plot twist and say, yes, I'm going to fight Shakur Stevenson. But here's the thing. There's the I don't want to say so much the excuse, because then people are going to take it as a negative connotation. The reasoning for him moving up is built in. A lot of people are going to say he's been drained at that weight for a long time. He's been uncomfortable at that weight for a long time. He should have moved up a long time ago, so we don't see no problem with it. However, they wanted him to fight Shakur when he offered Shakur 25%. Never forget that. They wanted him to fight. At that point, they weren't saying, oh, he shouldn't fight Shakur. He should move up to 140. They're only going to start saying that now that he's deciding to move up to 140. Trust me. They're only going to start saying that now because he's deciding. No one was like, damn, Devin Haney, you shouldn't fight Shakur at 135. You're too weight drained. You should move up to 140. No one was saying that. Everyone was like, look at Shakur ducking. He should be fighting him. Let's see what's going to happen. Now it's all, I guarantee you, they're going to come out of the woodworks talking about, oh, yeah, he should be up there anyways, because you wasn't saying that before. You saying that now. You wasn't saying that before. So, yeah, I had a 2% hope that he was going to decide to fight him, but no. And even now, he's going to 140, and he's not even fighting Teofimo. He's fighting Regis Prograis. Now, granted, it's an easier fight to make. It's easier to make because of his franchise status. But with the WBO, they were going to allow him to fight for the belt anyways, but he didn't petition for the WBO to mandate that fight with Teofimo Lopez because he's the WBO champion, so he has that luxury to do that. But he did not do that at all. I knew Devin was going to duck Shakur. Man, it's too good to be true for them to fight, bro. It's too good to be true for them to fight. You imagine them fighting a press conference with Shakur and Devin Haney? I just can't see it, man. I just can't see it. And now that he's moving to 140, we're not going to see that fight for a long, long time. We're not going to see that fight for a long time. Dustin, two times. Yo, what's going on, brother? What's up? All good, Fanatico. Just looking forward to the Inoue Fulton fight on Tuesday. That's going to be fire. Who's waking up for that one? I'm not waking up for the whole card, but I'm definitely waking up for the main event. I'm here in the United States on the East Coast, so the main event is going to start sometime around 7 a.m., 6:30 to 7 a.m. So, yeah, I'm going to wake up for that fight. That's a super fight, bro. That's a super fight. Oh, we got a super chat by Adrian Dones. Hold on. I can heart the super chats now. I can heart the super chats. They put a heart on that bad boy. A $20 super chat. My goodness. My goodness. You know what the $20 super chat give you.
It's the real deal.
It's the real deal. It's the real deal. It's the real deal. Thank you, brother. Hold on. Let's put that again.
It's the real deal.
It's the real deal. It's the real deal now. All right, hold on. What do you think about Ryan versus Romero fight as a possibility? Thank you for the $20 super chat. My goodness, Adrian Jones. Thank you so much, man. That came out of left field. What do I think about Ryan versus Romero? I think that's a perfect fight. That's a perfect fight to make. Perfect fight to make. The reason why is a perfect fight to make, and guys, hit the like, please. We got a bunch of you in here, but please hit the like. We only got 6 likes. Please hit the like to bring the likes up so we can get more people coming in. The reason that I think is a perfect fight is because there's history behind Rolly Romero fighting Ryan Garcia in sparring, where he's beating up Ryan Garcia in sparring. Right? There's history of that, and that's really what gave Rolly Romero his fame, believe it or not. People get famed by weird things. Errol Spence Jr. got famed because he gave Floyd Mayweather a black eye once in sparring. That all of a sudden, that gave him mad fame. And Rolly Romero got fame because he beat up Ryan Garcia, and the only reason that gave him fame was because Ryan Garcia was popping on YouTube. So Ryan Garcia popping on YouTube, and then there's a sparring sessions showing Rolly Romero beating up Ryan Garcia that popped Rolly Romero a little bit. Now he got even more fame because he ended up fighting Tank, and he did decent until he got knocked out. Decent to the point, in my opinion, he did better than Ryan Garcia. Like, I really truly believe that Rolly Romero did better than Ryan Garcia. So this all lends to Ryan Garcia having a redemption arc coming back. And I think Ryan Garcia versus Rolly will play perfectly into the hands of Ryan Garcia and the style that Ryan Garcia has. Because Ryan Garcia has this style where if you're coming for him, he'll go ahead and take you out. But if you're counter-punching him, it'll be much more difficult. And he dealt with that with the Tank. But when he has like a come forward fighter, he could do a little bit more work. Plus, Rolly is not that technically sound, so he should be able to do some damage against Rolly Romero. And if he beats Rolly, guess what? He'll actually be a 140 champ. He'll be a 140 champ because he's the WBA champion. So he'll be a 140 champ if he beats Rolly Romero. Believe it or not, guys, yes, Rolly Romero is a world champion. He's a world champion. People make fun of him, but he keeps doing things, right? He keeps doing things. Like he beat Tank, and now he's a world champ. Tank ain't even a world champ. Tank is not even a world champion. Just got in here. Is Devin going to 140? More than likely, yes. More than likely, yes. He's moving to 140. He has until Thursday to confirm what his decision is going to be, but it was a double appeal. He was supposed to confirm it today, and because him and Regis Prograis appealed his confirmation for today, they pushed it to Thursday. So he has 6 days until he makes that decision. And the only reason they pushed it is because they want him to hold the franchise status so that he could fight Regis Prograis easier since they're in heavy negotiations. To me, the writing's on the wall. He's not fighting Shakur Stevenson. We will get an announcement of Devin Haney versus Regis Prograis soon. Me, of course, also, you waking up. Okay, I hear you. Heard Devin sent Shakur another offer. No, he didn't. What offer did he send him? Where? He didn't send him no other offer. And Shakur doesn't even have to care about the offer that he sends him. They could go into negotiation and see what happens, but he doesn't have to care because it could go right to a purse bid, and he'll get more money. As long as Devin Haney is below the purse bid auto split, he might hold off. He'll be like, nah, until the purse bid, auto split comes in. But if anything, because he got the mandate and it's happening, so he's comfortable. He knows for a fact he'll be WBC champion, or he'll be competing for the WBC title. Shakur knows that for a fact. Shakur don't play, man. He don't play. He went from 126, fought for the titles there, for the world titles there, went to 130, fought for the world titles there, is at 135, and he's going to fight for the world titles. When people say who has he fought, it makes no sense. This man literally fights the best ranking fighters in the world every time he reaches the division. He doesn't take his time, but he fights the best ranked fighters in the world the moment he reaches the division. I do too. I think it will be a fun fight to watch. Rolly definitely gave Tank a tougher fight. Yeah, in my opinion, Rolly gave him a tougher fight. Rolly was much more in control. He didn't look like he was too nervous or nothing. He just looked in control, picking his shots. He actually looked pretty decent. Like, granted, he doesn't have the best technical form and the best technical, and the best boxing IQ or whatever, but he was looking decent until he overextended himself and then got caught with that right hook. He was looking real good. So I'm telling you, it's going to be a good redemption arc for Ryan Garcia. I think Ryan Garcia versus Rolly could sell. That's another thing. I think they could do something like 300 or 400,000 pay-per-view, maybe even more buys. And we get to see what's the differentiator between, is it Tank is going to be selling moving forward? Is it Ryan that's going to be selling moving forward? Or was it just that combination of both of them with lightning in a bottle and that everybody's going to go back to reset? Let's see. We've not seen Ryan Garcia on pay-per-view without Tank. He's only gone on pay-per-view one time, so I would love to see Ryan Garcia on pay-per-view by himself, and see what numbers he produces. I think that would be important to point out. But once again, this is a perfect fight if you want to make sure you get a win on a return. You win a world title. You fight someone that there's a history there. There's a history built in there. I think this is a perfect fight for Ryan Garcia if he takes it. And it looks like that's where they're going. I've already seen a lot of interviews with Ryan Garcia. It looks like he's going to be fighting Rolly Romero. Bet Shakur versus Loma then. Time to collect the belts once again. Yeah. Shakur versus Loma is like, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad. Even if he don't fight Haney, he could fight Loma. He could put a better performance versus Loma. It's going to be a big fight. Maybe it's pay-per-view. I don't know. If it is pay-per-view, it's going to be crazy. We could really measure up to see how much pay-per-views did Shakur do versus Devin Haney. That's a big deal because they're gonna fight each other, and that's gonna sway the negotiation process moving forward in the future. But we get to see how he performs against a Lomachenko that gave Devin Haney problems. So we get to see what Shakur Stevenson could do versus a common opponent, and a common opponent that's not, a regular Joe Schmo. It's the great Lomachenko, right? I definitely expect Shakur Stevenson to beat Lomachenko, but we'll have to wait and see. We have to wait and see what happens. But I don't see Lomachenko giving Shakur Stevenson problems, to be honest. Ain't Tank fighting somebody soon? I think so. I don't know exactly who he is going to fight. But I think he's definitely going to fight somebody soon. I think they were talking about a possible rematch with Isaac Cruz. I wouldn't go that route if I was Tank. He couldn't knock him out the last time. You don't want to mess up your knockout percentage or whatever because that's part of your selling point. I don't know. If I was Tank, I wonder what Tank would do. Like, maybe he waits to see what Devin Haney does. If Devin Haney goes ahead and, like Adrian Doan says right here, Devin should release the Dragon Balls. We know he's moving up. If Devin does that, then what I think should happen is that he should try to go for one of those world titles. He should try to go for one of those world titles. But here's the thing. If he doesn't go for the world, having the world titles have not been a thing that matters to the Tank camp. Because in their mind, the only thing that matters is generating popularity, generating income, increasing their status, right? And not within the rankings, within the general public, so that they can make money during pay-per-views. I think that's the only thing that they care about. And if they fight for a world title, they're going to pay the sanctioning fees for the world title, but not only that, they're going to be mandated to fight people. And what's going to happen? Shakur is going to come out of nowhere and be ranked number one contender. Then they're going to have to fight Shakur or not relinquish the belts, and that looks horrible for PR. So let's say they mandate him to fight Shakur and he doesn't want to. The only thing he could do is drop the belts. You know how bad that looks for publicity? For him to be like, it looks like you're so scared of Shakur Stevenson that you drop the belts. So I can't see them even putting themselves in that situation at all, right? It's just safer where you could just pick and choose whoever you want to fight. You could pick and choose whoever you want to fight is the safest option. They were talking before Teofimo beat Josh Taylor that they will fight Teofimo Lopez. I'm hoping that that's still the case. I'm 100% hoping that that's still the case, because if that isn't the case, then it's gonna suck, man. It's gonna suck. Like, I don't want him to fight any regular person, man. He needs to fight. Let me see if there's any talks like of someone else other than Isaac Cruz. Tank Davis next opponent. Let's see if there's any chatter. Well, it says here on June 27th, Calvin Ford said that Gervonta Tank Davis wanted to fight Devin Haney, but that's not going to happen because Devin Haney's not going to fight him. Let's look at news. Let's see what he's going to do next. Rumors of Gervonta Tank Davis' next fight set to take place in his hometown for a title fight to impress the fans. Oh, yeah. Wait. I did hear something. But who was the challenger that they were thinking of? He's definitely going to fight in Baltimore. Who was the person that they were talking about for him to fight? Actually, it's not bad. It's not bad. They're thinking of Gervonta Tank Davis. This ain't bad. Y'all ready for this? Versus, Chris Colbert. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Chris Colbert. That's not bad. I would say that's pretty decent. Gervonta Tank Davis and Chris Colbert are in negotiations for a December bout for the WBA regular belt. Bout is aimed to take place in Gervonta Davis' hometown of Baltimore, Maryland, as a homecoming fight. Gervonta Davis is coming off of his huge win over Ryan Garcia. And they have a picture here. Fans have been reacting to the news, with some admitting they're less than impressed with the level of his potential opponent. One fan wrote, Why? Chris Colbert ain't that bad. Chris Colbert is really not that bad. Like, Tank fights the likes of a Hector Garcia. He fights the likes of a Mario Barrios. Chris Colbert is the best thing he's done, probably. That's probably going to be like the best type of fight that he's done. Chris Colbert already lost. He lost. And he definitely got beat by this dude, and they gave him the decision. So in his last fight, but still, it's decent. It's better than a rematch with Isaac Cruz or another kind of no-name fighter. Like, Isaac Cruz was a no-name fighter before he fought, before Tank fought him. And then he did the performance he did with Tank. Shane Bosley, this is what frustrates me about boxing at the moment. Let's do the Super 6 series again. That ain't never going to happen. In all weights, that's when we had the top fighters wanting to fight, not for cash, for being the best. But that's the thing with boxing, man. Boxing is so fragmented because it's an individual sport in every way imaginable. It's not just about the fact that you're one-on-one like tennis, right? It's not a one organization. Even though tennis is one-on-one, it's one organization. Even though UFC is one-on-one, it's one organization. But boxing is so much politics in there. They'll gaslight you to believe that somebody is actually good when in reality the person is not that good at all. But the reason they're gaslighting you to think he's good, you know what? You know when it is definitely a gaslight. You know how you can spot it? This is how you can spot it. When the promoters of the fighter is hyping the fighter's opponent. When they do this all the time. This is how you know it's a gaslight. When the promoter of the fighter is like, yo, y'all think that he coming to fight. We gonna come to fight, but he coming to fight. He's a tough competitor. He's nail biting. He doesn't stop coming forward. He's constant. A lot of pressure. We're going to have to deal with that pressure. We think we got what it takes, but this guy is super, super aggressive, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be one hell of a fight. It's going to be one hell of a fight. When you're hearing the promoters of the fighters saying that about an opponent, they're gaslighting you. They're gaslighting you. Because what really happens is when it's a 50-50, they're not talking like that. When it's a 50-50 or when the person is actually a good fighter, they're not talking like that. They're just going on the mic and saying, we don't got nothing. We do everything better than he does. We got better defense, better power. We got more punch variation. We way better than this guy. That's what you get when it's an actual 50-50 fight. When the fight is a real fight. When the fight is they gaslighting, that's what they do. They start telling you how nice the opponent is because they know you don't know who he is. They know you don't know who he is, so that's what they do. Colbert. That's why we need the Super 6. You can't choose who you're fighting, man. That's one of the reasons why I respect Andre Ward so much. My man went through the Super 6, a Super 6 that had Arthur Abraham, Mikkel Kessler, Carl Froch, who became popular through the Super 6, Jermaine Taylor, which unfortunately got knocked out of the Super 6 because he literally got knocked out and they had to get him off of that. He went through that whole thing and came out undefeated on the other side, and obviously the Super 6 champion. My man went through that whole thing, and he had to fight Mikkel Kessler. He actually had to fight Mikkel Kessler, who was considered the favorite to win the Super 6 tournament. He was the favorite. Nobody was really talking about Carl Froch. The Super 6 actually put Carl Froch on the map. But that just shows how, like, it put Carl Froch on the map, and yet Andre still outboxed him. Andre was one of my favorite fighters back then, man. It was Floyd and then Andre Ward. That's how I had it. Floyd and Andre Ward. Both of those guys, man. People were saying Chris Colbert a bum, and why is Tank fighting a nobody on Twitter? How are they saying he's a nobody, though? He's Chris Colbert. You know, they were talking about how Chris Colbert might be the next, like, Floyd. They was talking about that because he was slick and he had good. He has that kind of Philly shell style, but he's athletic and everything. So they were talking about Chris Colbert being probably the next Floyd Mayweather. I never thought he was anywhere close to that because obviously his level of competition wasn't out of this world. I don't think he was anywhere close to that, but people were saying that at one point. And then, you know, he lost, right? He lost badly. He got knocked out. I think it was against Hector Garcia, right? I think it was against Hector Garcia, wasn't it? And so this is where it makes it weird, though. I guess you could fight the winners and the losers. Fight the winners and the losers. Hector Garcia beat Chris Colbert, but that was an upset. So I guess, you know, Tank fought Hector Garcia, and then he's deciding to fight Chris Colbert. So it's like, all right, whatever. Shakur did it, right? Shakur fought the winner and the loser. He fought Oscar Valdez and Robson Fonseca. Maybe he could erase any thought of it being a Chris Colbert. It was a fluke for Chris Colbert to lose to Hector Garcia that night. He just got caught with a good punch or whatever. They could do that all day. And then Watch. I'm telling you, they're going to be hyping. Tank Davis's team is going to be hyping Chris Colbert's talents. How much you want to bet? Watch. Get ready for that. Bandito Colbert is going to be in a coma if he fights Tank. Yeah, man. And he's chinny, too. He's chinny. He was chinny in his last fight. He lost by knockout in his fight versus Hector Garcia. I don't see him winning. I think it's a decent fight for what I would think a Tank fight would be. Like, who's Tank gonna pick? Hector Garcia. Okay. He'll pick a Hector Garcia or Mario Barrios or Leo Santa Cruz. I'd rather if he's gonna pick those kind of guys, because Tank is not gonna go, oh, I want to be the super champion. He's never gonna say that. So if he's never going to say that, he's never going to fight in the tier that these guys fight in. That's why we really won't ever know how good he is until, like, from the eye test, he's phenomenal. But, like, with Shakur, from the eye test, he's phenomenal, and we know he's actually phenomenal because he fights the best fighters possible. He doesn't do, like, some, like, under-the-surface thing that Tank does. It's like everyone's up here and Tank is always over here with the regular belt. Why are you fighting for the regular belt and you a superstar? Can you imagine if, like, all these superstars from the past, like Floyd Mayweather, was just fighting for a regular belt and not for the official belt that makes you a world champion? You a world champion with an asterisk on your name. So he's not going to fight those guys. He doesn't care to fight those guys. And the fact that he's fighting Chris Colbert, the reason I say is decent is because of the echelon of fighters that he fights. I guess he's the kind of the better one to pick of the echelon of fighters that he picks. Because he ain't never going to fight nobody that's in the tier of fighting for world titles. He's just not going to do it unless it's a big, big payout. Ryan Garcia was not in that tier. Ryan Garcia was not fighting for world titles. So he fought him. He just fights below the surface. That's it. He just fights below the surface. Well, we may never know how good Tank is. And I don't want to hear that he's using the Floyd Mayweather strategy, because Floyd Mayweather fought the best fighters in the world in each division. He didn't fight under the surface. He fought the best fighters in the world in each division. Ricky Hatton, Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, Manny Pacquiao. He fought the best fighters in each division. So, what's going on? Ak Rivera, 84, Sub Fanatico. I'm going to take that extra 6-day extension as Haney getting some type of respect, and that's actually good to see, just an opinion. As Haney, well, yeah, I mean, he asked for the extension, and it was granted because he's within negotiations with Regis Prograis. So basically, they haven't completed negotiations, but they don't want him to be stripped, right? So they haven't completed it. They don't want him to be stripped, and they're trying to negotiate before the mandatory negotiation. So that way they could come to an agreement on their own terms within each other. And Regis Prograis doesn't want him to lose that belt, because then he loses that franchise title perk that allows him to just fight Regis Prograis without any red tape. He could just go boom straight to Regis Prograis. So yeah, it's not that they're respecting him. They're just going through the normal processes of what they do with mandatory titles. Extensions are afforded to fighters all the time, as long as you could show a legitimate movement towards something that you're going to do. This is why it makes me almost 100% feel that he's going to fight Regis Prograis, because they probably showed, hey, look, we're this deep in negotiation. We're almost about to announce it. Just give us some time. Give us till this date, and then we'll be able to announce the fight. We're very close to closing a deal between us two. And what will happen, and I'm telling you this is what's going to happen, is a day or two before, or maybe even the day of the extension, a day or two before or the day of the extension, they're going to announce Regis Prograis versus Devin Haney. It's almost guaranteed. Watch, I'm gonna go live and we're gonna be talking about it, and I'm gonna say, "Yo, I told you so." Watch. So it's not so much that they respect them. They're just going through the normal processes of what they do. Inoue, what you mean Inoue? Inoue what? Is Inoue going to win? I think so. I'm going for Inoue in this one. I think he's actually going to win against Stephen Fulton. I love Stephen Fulton, and I think Stephen Fulton is literally probably Inoue's biggest threat down there, to be honest. And I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen Fulton somehow pulls out the win, because he's slick, he's smart. But let's see what happens, because that Inoue is the monster, right? He's the Japanese monster. So I still see Inoue winning and beating Fulton. But Inoue did have trouble with Nonito Donaire when Nonito Donaire was past his prime. So he might have trouble. You never know. He might have trouble. But I have a feeling that Inoue is gonna win. He's gonna bring a lot of pressure. He's gonna have a lot of accuracy. His body shots is gonna be lethal. And I think Stephen Fulton's going to be overwhelmed by that. And then he's going to be able to maybe even take Stephen Fulton out of there. But we'll have to wait and see. I think my prediction is that Inoue will win that fight. Don Davis, what's going on, brother? Adrian Dones, yeah, Hector Garcia, yeah. Wasn't he called Little B-Hop before? Yeah, they was calling him Little B-Hop. But people were saying Little B-Hop. People were saying the next Floyd. They were hyping him up. The same way they were kind of hyping up Adrian Broner. They were hyping him up, but then he hit a wall, and it was over. Was an amazing tournament. That was the best Super 6 tournament. There were other Super 6 tournaments after that one. There were other ones, especially in the UK. They do a lot of those Super 6 tournaments. But that, to me, was the best one. The one that they did on Showtime. That Super 6 tournament was absolutely the best one. Maybe the next B-Hop. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I don't think he got, his last two performances were bad. They weren't good. Yep, that is what they called Chris coming up. Yeah. Don Davis, I read something earlier saying Haney sent Shakur a second contract offer, which is why he got the extension. No, No. The reason he got the extension is not because he sent Shakur another contract offer. The reason he got the extension is because there was a double appeal by both him and Regis Prograde, and they asked for more time because they are negotiating for a fight. Has nothing to do with Shakur Stevenson. What's going to happen is he's going to relinquish the belt, and Shakur Stevenson is going to fight for a vacant WBC belt. And people are going to be like, and this is the thing that's funny, people are going to be like, oh, you're a paper champion. You won a vacant belt. Even though Shakur is going to have to beat a Lomachenko for the vacant belt. They're still going to call him a paper champion just because he ain't beat. Oh, you won the belt that they gave, that Devin Haney gave you. The hypocrisy in boxing is crazy. Even though Devin Haney was actually given a WBC belt without even fighting, he was given Lomachenko's belt without even fighting. By the way, it's not even like the normal process where you fight for a vacant belt. He was just given that belt because Lomachenko was elevated to franchise, which they like. Devin Haney fans did not want to. They didn't want to acknowledge the franchise belt, even though it was a real belt. Just because they like every belt was made at one point. Everything had a start, right? So they didn't want to acknowledge it. Meanwhile, it was the reality. He was franchise champion. Canelo Alvarez was franchise champion. They never said nothing about Canelo Alvarez not being franchise champion. So, like, it was all, like, to pull their own narrative so that they could be like, oh, you got to fight Devin Haney, or Devin Haney's the real champ, or you're not undisputed, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the reality was that the person who actually worked hard to win that WBC belt was Lomachenko, and all they did was elevate him to a better belt and give Devin Haney the regular WBC belt for free. Obviously, well, not for free. He was ranked in a certain position for them to do that, but he didn't fight for it. So the entire time he was defending it, he never actually won it at all. But kudos to Devin Haney. When he won Undisputed, he won the franchise belt. He got every single belt. He won the franchise belt. He had the regular belt. So he won it. And he's considered both the regular champion and the franchise champion, guys. A lot of people are like, they're not even talking about that. They're not even saying, oh, nah, why he got a fake franchise title. Nobody's saying that. Like, of the same people that were saying that the franchise title is fake, they not talking about how, oh, Devin Haney shouldn't be able to fight Regis Prograde without any red tape because the franchise title doesn't even exist. But now that Devin Haney got the title because he won it legitimately, now it's all cool. Now the franchise title is a good title that's gonna allow him to fight Regis Prograde. There's no protest. On that. That's the hypocrisy of the boxing fans, man. That drives me crazy, bro. Fulton getting that W. Oh, so you think that Fulton's gonna win? Okay. That's interesting, Adrian Don'ts. I have Inoue winning, but we'll see. If anyone was to beat Inoue, though, I would say this. Fulton would be the guy to do it. This is legitimately a super fight. Of like the top 3 fights that could be made, this is like number 3. The number 1 fight that could be made in boxing is number 3. I would say this is number 3. The number 1 fight that could be made in boxing is this is number 2. Number 1 fight that could be made in boxing is Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, which thank God it was made, so we don't got to worry about that. It's next week, by the way, guys. It's crazy. Next week. That's the number 1 fight. Number 2 is Inoue versus Stephen Fulton. Number 3 is Tyson Fury versus Usyk. And number 4 is Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. To me, that's my, like, how I got those super fights listed in my head. So, let's see. Let's see. Is the WBA still in the process of consolidating their belts, i.e. eliminating the regular belt? WBA, no. They're not consolidating their belt. Also, if Dev vacates, wouldn't Tank be elevated to super champ? If Devin Haney vacates, wouldn't Tank be elevated to super champ? Nope, doesn't work like that. They wouldn't elevate the regular champion to super champion. Nope. There would just be, because there's an entire rank system. And Tank is not number one contender for the belt. He's not even fighting in that ranking. He's fighting for the regular belt. So it will be someone else that would fight for the vacant WBA belt. So no, it wouldn't just go to Tank automatically. And let's not forget that the fight got pushed back because Inoue had a problem with random drug tests. Makes it seem like he had to clean first. Nah. I said, Don Davis. Don't do that. That's not the truth. That's not exact. There's a lot of things that was said in that talk that Sean did for Fight Hype, but a lot of people are not getting talk. They're taking it out of context. What Inoue said was that he was annoyed by the fact that it was happening 2 times a week. That's what his annoyance was. He's been drug tested many times. He fought in the States a bunch of times and dominated people in the States. He came in the States and was still the monster, went through VADA drug testing. He's done it a bunch of times. The discrepancy with this one was that VADA went to him 2 times in the same week. And normally they don't do that. Normally it's random, but it's random. It just happened to be a coincidence. They just decided to randomly do it 2 times in the same week. But it's unnecessary. If you think about it, it's unnecessary because why do you need to test? It makes sense what he's saying. Why do you need to test 2 times in the same week? If you test me on Tuesday, right? There's a certain amount of time before something could cycle off of my body. You don't have to come back on Thursday. Because even if you test me on Tuesday and I start doping on Wednesday, you could test me again like 2 weeks later and it'll still be in my system. Right? Because if it wasn't in my system on Tuesday, I'm going to have to go through a cycle starting on Wednesday, whatever it is, and it'll still be in my system. Is getting tested is disruptive. It's incredibly disruptive. It's necessary, but it's disruptive. Like if you're training or whatever, you're in a mindset or whatever, and they just come boom and test you. It's like, all right, cool, whatever, cool. And it's a big process. It takes some time or whatever. Blood is getting pulled out of you or whatever, and then you got to go back, and now you're cold and you're trying to warm up. And then you're doing that, and you're like, all right, whatever, I got it over with or whatever. And then Thursday, they're like, hey, we're back. You're like, bro, what's the reason? Why are you coming back? You could come back in 2 weeks. I can't cycle this off that quick. I can't start doping tomorrow and cycle off this. So I think it was just they have a randomizer of when they go, and by coincidence it landed in the same week. But I don't think that proves that he needed to get clean. So don't. I would say do not take that as a thing. Is he maybe a hole to reporters? Maybe, yes, but I wouldn't say to hang your hat on that and go off of that. Let's not forget, AB is a 4-division champ and a future Hall of Famer. People act like he was just trash. Yeah. When he beat Demarcus Antonio DeMarco, I mean, that was impressive. That was impressive. He lost to Maidana, but Maidana beat the likes of like. He almost beat Amir Khan. He beat the likes of Victor Ortiz when Victor Ortiz was undefeated and when Victor Ortiz was a rising star. So Maidana's a problem. So he only lost to people that were like, you know what I'm saying? He lost to Sean Porter. You know what I mean? He lost to Manny Pacquiao. So he lost to like real powerful people. Adrian Jones, yep, I do remember, brother. Good fighter, lacks discipline. Yeah, but let's see. I think he's calling out Rolly Romero. He wants to fight Rolly Romero. He asked for the extension, but he did send Shakur another contract. I have to go check that out. I didn't see that he sent him another contract. I didn't see it anywhere by any reliable sources. But I'll have to check that out to see if he did send another contract. But we'll see if he sent another contract and is better than 25%. I can't see Shakur, saying no. Like he wants to fight. He wants to fight for the title. I'm with you, Fanatico. Hey, thank you, brother. 100%. I got Shakur beating Haney and Loma, to be real. Of course, man. Shakur is too good. He's too good. He's way ahead. Oh no, you're defending that fake franchise belt. Wait, hold on. Did you defend the fake super WBA belt when Mayweather was granted the WBA belt, or did you say no, Mayweather is not a true champion? I'm curious. Because when Mayweather had the WBA belt, they made sure to elevate him to super, and they relegated the WBA to regular, and Keith Thurman fought for the regular belt. So Keith Thurman became the regular WBA champion, but Mayweather was elevated to super champion. So was that title fake? Which, by the way, that's the title that people use right now. The one that was the fake one, according to your logic, if you're staying logically consistent, right? According to your logic, that WBA title, the super one, is the one that people use to this day. So is Devin Haney is not actually undisputed, because he needs to go and get Tank's regular WBA, right? All you got to do is try to connect to logical consistency. And once you can't connect to logical consistency, your argument falls apart, Gettins. That's not the point. That's not the point, who he avoided. You could say he avoided Keith Thurman. The same way you're saying, what you're trying to insinuate that Loma and Teofimo avoided Devin Haney, because Keith Thurman was the regular WBA champion. My point is this: Devin Haney holds the super title that was created when Floyd Mayweather was WBA champion at 147. Now, every division has a super division, a super title division, but that means that Devin Haney is not the real champion. But that means Devin Haney is not he's not really undisputed, right? By your logic, he's not really undisputed, because he's the super WBA champion. He's not the regular WBA champion at 135. The franchise belt is just another super belt. Everyone did it. WBA already did it. So the WBC did it. It's just not called super. It's called franchise. And by your logic, Devin Haney should not be able to use any of the perks that come with franchise champion. And one of the perks is that he can fight whoever he wants in any division moving up or down. He shouldn't use any of those perks, right? Because those perks only come with the franchise belt. He doesn't have to put in a mandate, a petition, and wait a process and have people deliberate and see if he should get it or not, or if somebody should be moved up in front of him in the line. He doesn't have to do any of that. He can literally just fight for free. Just boom, go and fight whoever is the WBC champion. By your logic, because the franchise title is not a real title, Devin Haney, by the way, you probably think that Devin Haney fused it with the WBC regular. He didn't. He's both WBC regular and WBC franchise. And he's using the WBC franchise to fight Regis Prograis. So he shouldn't do that, right? He should just go through the normal process and pretend he doesn't have the franchise belt. The double standards. The double standards. The double standards, buddy. Wait, straw man arguments. That's not the same perk for being undisputed. What are you talking about? The franchise belt is fake. So no, he should not have any perks if that was true. He does have perks. It comes with the franchise belt. But what you're saying right now is he should just throw the franchise belt away. So should he also throw away the WBA super belt and fight Tank to be WBA champion, which is the regular belt, because he's holding both the regular WBC and the franchise belt. And with that same consistency, is he not undisputed? Because he doesn't have the regular belt. And one thing that I find hilarious more than anything, one thing that I find hilarious is the fact that Loma was the one that won the belt that Devin Haney has to begin with. It wasn't like Devin Haney won the WBC belt and Loma didn't, and then Loma was given a franchise belt. It's the other way around. Loma actually became the lineal WBC champion. And because he has such a high status, like Canelo, he was afforded the franchise belt. He was given the franchise belt, which elevated his belt status to a new super, just like WBA. And his belt, his WBC that he won, that he worked hard for, was just given to Devin Haney. And the argument is, oh, Devin Haney, the real champion. But he ain't fight for the belt. He was given the belt. The person who fought for the belt was actually Lomachenko. And if they didn't do that, it would have still been Lomachenko as WBC champion. It would have never gone to Devin Haney if they didn't do the whole franchise belt stuff. So it's not like Devin Haney won it on his, like, by his own merit or whatever, and Lomachenko had nothing to do with it. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. And what you said over here about Inoue? Hold on. No one you know defends the franchise belt because you're in an echo chamber, Gettins. You got to get out of the echo chamber. When you're in an echo chamber, if you only want to listen to people that tell you the things that you like to hear, you're in an echo chamber. So you're going to hear people that like to tell you that the franchise belt is an illegitimate belt, but they'll still say that the WBA super belt is a legitimate belt, even though it's the same thing. It's the same thing as the franchise belt. The same situation happened. Somebody was a superstar, and because they were a superstar, they were elevated to super status. And wrong cheaters could cycle off way faster than you think. So if you dope on Wednesday, you could cycle off by next Wednesday? No, you can't. No, you can't. It's gonna be in your system. It's gonna be a micro cell, whatever it is. It detects such a small amount. It still will be in your system. And if you're taking it and cycling off so fast within a week, you're not even letting it do anything. It's not doing anything in your system. So you just wanted to be that he's possibly, but he's not complaining about getting randomly tested. He doesn't care if they show up whenever they want to show up. He's just saying 2 times a week is incredibly disruptive. That to me doesn't speak to somebody that, because he's done random testing before. That doesn't speak to somebody to me that's like, that he's doping. That is a possibility. I feel I'll give Inoue the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. The thing is, if he wasn't randomly drug tested before, that could possibly be something that you might be like, oh, okay, maybe this is a red flag. But he was randomly drug tested. He was randomly drug tested for all the fights he had in the United States, and he had a bunch of them. And he was randomly drug tested for the fight that he had with Nonito Donaire. So he's been randomly drug tested all the time, or in his previous fights. And they never affected the way he fought. Franchise and super pretty much the same thing. WBA just did it first. Exactly. That's all that happened. The franchise belt is created for Loma. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And yes, because Canelo had it too. And yes, he should trash the belt. It has no history. Trash. LOL, you putting words in my mouth. Okay, so the WBA super belt should be trashed because it has no history past Floyd Mayweather. It has no history past Floyd Mayweather. Right? The franchise is basically the super. Just the WBC's version. That's what they call it. They call it franchise. They don't call it super. What do you think of Devin's place at 9th in the pound-for-pound ranking post the Loma fight? I think it's decent. I mean, him beating Loma is a big deal. Even if some people want to say he didn't beat him or whatever, I think it was a close fight that could have gone either way. I think him beating Loma is a big deal. So to put him on the list, yeah, I'll put him on the list. I would. That makes sense to me. The whole franchise thing was dumb and should never have been done. But what about the super thing? Daryl Alexander, was the super thing dumb and shouldn't have been done? That's the thing. It's like no one cares about the super one. Everyone's like, that's fine. They elevate Floyd, that's fine. But now, because of this whole thing that happened where Devin was given the regular WBC belt, now there's a problem with the franchise belt. My question is, where's the problem with the super WBA super belt? Is Haney not undisputed right now? Because he's the super WBA champion. Is everyone who's undisputed not really undisputed? Because they're all super champions. Haney beat Loma, so it really don't matter. Yeah, at the end of the day, he actually beat Lomachenko, so yeah, it doesn't really matter in that sense. But you can't pretend like, oh, now the franchise belt is all good. And you can't not like the franchise belt and then still like the super WBA belt, because that's still logically inconsistent. Isn't that the same belt had where they took it from Devin and gave it back? Isn't that the same belt? What belt did they took from Devin and gave it back? They gave him the WBC belt when Lomachenko was elevated to franchise. They literally gave Lomachenko's belt to Devin Haney. And people were saying that Lomachenko should fight Devin Haney for his belt back that he never lost at the time. Let's not forget Haney is the current lineal champ at 35. He is the man to beat. Yeah, 100%. Why didn't Loma fight Haney back then? He didn't. Because that's like saying, why didn't Floyd fight Thurman for his WBA regular belt back? That's literally like saying, why didn't Floyd fight Thurman to get his WBA regular belt back that he ain't never lose because he was elevated to WBA super, and so he elevated a super, and now they gave him a belt to somebody else. Now he got to go back and get that belt that they took away from him that he didn't lose. Just make it logically consistent, my friend. That's all I'm asking. The franchise belt was made popular by Canelo. Correct. Canelo made the belt popular. You know more than drug cheating docs. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so give me the link to the document that tells that you've seen from a professional that says that you can cycle off within a week. Find it, and then go ahead and give me the link so I could go read it. If you're saying that you got this information from doctors and professionals, find the link and give it to me so I could go ahead and read it. That's probably why he got that mysterious injury that no one knows what it is. What injury? What are y'all talking about? With the shoulder injury? Why was Loma given the franchise status when he never planned on moving up to face anyone? I thought that was the whole point. The whole point of franchise is not. It is a perk that comes with it. It's a perk that comes with it. Hold up. We got a super chat. Let me heart that super chat real quick. We got a super chat by Jay Shep. What's going on, brother? Hold on. We got to get a super chat. What is it, $10? We got to do the $10 super chat. $10 super chat. Hey! My man said, when is Shakur snatching them belts from Haney, bro? They're not going to fight. They're not going to fight. Haney's going to go ahead and fight Regis Prograis more than likely. So we're not going to see that fight, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Let's see what he does with Regis Prograis. There should be less belts. Floyd said that. I agree. Okay, so you're talking about two different things. You're saying there should be less world titles. You're not saying that the WBA suit. Are you saying that Haney and everybody else who's a 4-belt champion, that they're not actually undisputed? Are you saying that? Because the WBA super belt is not the WBA regular belt. The regular champion is Tank Davis. So are you saying that Devin Haney and everybody else who's a 4-belt champion at the world title level is not undisputed? Unless they go and fight also the regular title holder. It should only be 3 belts. Throw the other belts away. It should only be 3 belts. Which 3 belts do you feel should be the ones? 1 belt per weight class is how I prefer it to be. Yeah, 1 belt is cool, but the thing that the journey of becoming undisputed is actually pretty fun, in my opinion. So I do like the fact that there's a journey, because if you just fight one person, everybody just becomes undisputed immediately. I think you should admit you don't like Haney. Where's your videos about franchise belt and this same argument? Please, let's see. What? What video about franchise belt and the same argument? What are you talking about? I'm so confused. First of all, how do I not like Devin Haney? How do I not like Devin Haney? I gave him mad props when I predicted that Lomachenko was going to edge out the fight. And when Lomachenko lost and it was a close fight, I didn't come on here and say, oh, Devin Haney, they robbed Lomachenko. I even went as far as from predicting that Loma was going to edge it out to saying that Devin Haney won it legitimately. If I don't like Devin Haney, that was a layup for somebody that wants to just pretend they don't like Devin Haney and say, hey, or wants to act like they're unbiased, but they actually don't like somebody. I could have easily been like, oh, he got robbed. And I didn't do that. I made a whole video showing why Devin Haney deserved to have won and that it was not a robbery. If I hated Devin Haney, I would have never done that. I would have that's a layup for somebody that hates a fighter. That fight was a layup. It was a close fight. I could have just pretended that Lomachenko won. What I think is you should just admit that you don't like Lomachenko. That's what I think. You should just admit that you don't like Lomachenko. Because when you come in here, you just talking about like everything Devin Haney does, you just going with that. I'm always unbiased. One day, if Devin Haney when Canelo Alvarez was not with the PBC, I was talking about how he's dropping the ball. The moment he signed with PBC, I'm like, kudos, Canelo. I'm not gonna see. I don't feel like I'm gonna see you switch up ever, no matter what anybody does. You're going to be Devin Haney forever. That's being biased. I give props where props is due. I don't see you giving props to anybody other than Devin Haney. I think it's cool for Haney to get his props for beating Loma, but I don't think he's the 9th best boxer on the planet, though. Easily Tank and Shakur are better. See, I would argue that he's proven to be better than Tank. Is Tank possibly better than Devin Haney? Maybe, because of the eye test. But in terms of actual accomplishments, I think Devin Haney is better because Devin Haney is, according to some, undisputed. According to others, he's not because he has the WBA super belt. He needs to go and get the WBA regular belt. I think all belts should be fought for. No belts should be gifted. Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, most belts are fought for. Devin Haney was, unfortunately, this is not me being biased, he was given the WBC belt. Granted, he was in the rankings to be given the belt, but he was given the belt instead of fighting for it in a vacant fight, in a vacant title fight. No, the WBC monetized Canelo's popularity. But that's what the super belt does. The WBA super belt did that for Floyd. The franchise belt is just doing the same thing. It's the same business model. They exist. LOL, one belt per weight, less belts. End of story. Okay, cool, whatever. I like. It used to be more confusing, but now that everybody's trying to become undisputed, it's not as confusing. If you have all those 4 belts, you're the best in the division. You're undisputed. If you take away all the belts and just make it one, it'll diminish the workload and it won't feel as impactful. If we would have continued with just one belt, there's a different story. But we wouldn't feel as impactful. It wouldn't feel as impactful to us moving forward if somebody becomes undisputed, because you just got to win one belt and you become undisputed. There isn't the journey that everyone that's dealing with a journey now has to go through. I've never seen that video. LOL. What video y'all talking about? We for sure getting that overtime today. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. IBF, WBO, WBA. Throw away the WBC. They created the diarrhea belt and the Aztec belt. Throw away all those belts? What the heck? But the WBA belt was the original. The WBA was the original belt. That's the actual original belt. So technically all the other ones should be thrown away because the original one was the WBA. Hashim47, LOL, they made him mad. LOL, I'm here for the overtime snap. Hold on, let's see. Getting's game is going. That's one layer away. Saying Loma got robbed is delusional. Loma's okay, but he got too many privileges. You spent like 2 weeks dogging Haney. LOL saying he's a duck. I got Shakur over Haney now. Now what? Okay, cool. Good. You got Shakur over Haney. Good. That's showing that you there's something where you're shifting. There's something. So I'll give you that. Cool. But I'm not just saying it from right now. There's receipts of me. I'm not just saying something to get the points. There's receipts of me saying that Devin Haney deserved to win that belt. There's receipts of me praising Devin Haney's performance against George Kambosos Jr. I'm not just saying something to be like, haha, I got you. You might actually be for real, or you might not, but there ain't no receipts. Did you put out videos saying that you think Shakur is better than Lomachenko? Is there a history of you saying that? There's a history of me saying the stuff that I'm telling you right now. We need the mandatory tournaments in every weight class in boxing. That would be lit. Mandatory tournaments, yeah. I mean, they do eliminators and stuff like that, which is kind of like tournaments, but and still didn't answer why Loma didn't fight Haney. What are you talking? I literally answered it like 7 times. Loma won the belt. He actually was the lineal WBC champion. Unless this is a delayed comment, he's the lineal WBC champion. He went. He was given the franchise belt. So the belt that he actually won and worked hard for, they just gave it to Devin Haney so that he could be franchise champion. How does that make sense that they're like, oh, go refight for the belt you never lost because we gave it to Devin Haney? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You want it so badly to make sense, but it don't. It's like telling Floyd to go fight Keith Thurman to get your WBA regular back. It don't make sense. All right, let's do it like this, Getting. If you was a boxer and you won a world title, because I think what's blocking your brain is Devin Haney. Like you just want to be pro Devin Haney, so it's blocking your brain. If you I want to put you in the shoes of you. If you was a boxer and you won a world title, and then I said, "Yo, you so popular, bro. I'm gonna give you the maximum world title. Here's the maximum world title." You're like, "Damn, really? Woo, man, this is amazing." Thank you. I guess I've worked so hard. I'm the maximum world champion now. You are. And we're going to give your world title to Joe Schmo over there. The one that you worked hard for and you won. So, yeah, Joe Schmo, catch. It's your title. You're maximum world champion. He's just regular world champion. Oh. Before you fight another person, now go fight Joe Schmo that we just gave your title to, so you could be the regular world champion that you already had, but we just gave it to him because we made you maximum, and be maximum world champion. Go ahead. Oh, you don't want to fight him? You're wasting your time. What? No, you're ducking. You're ducking Joe Schmo that we just gave your title to. You're ducking him. That's the same concept that you're trying to pitch to me on Lomachenko fighting Devin Haney. If that was to happen to you, would you be okay going to fight Joe Schmo, who has the regular world title, but you're the maximum world champion? Would you be okay fighting Joe Schmo for your title back that you worked mad hard to fight for? Would that even make sense in your mind? I have to do it like this because I need to take away Loma and Devin Haney. Because if I don't take it away, you're just stuck. Because you've probably been in the echo chamber of Loma's been ducking Devin, Loma's been ducking. You've been in the echo chamber for so long that you literally can't rip yourself. It's part of your personality. It's part of who you are. So you can't rip yourself from that thought process. So I have to make it a different situation. One where you're in the shoes of Lomachenko. On Twitter, sure, I've said that. Can you link it? Can you link on Twitter where you said Shakur's going to beat Devin Haney? I'm just curious if you can link it. Yeah, so Loma duck, thanks. It would have been moving backward, basically. Exactly. It's dumb. Malvin, Fanatico, you can't explain basic knowledge to it. It's because this man, I'm guaranteeing you he's been in the echo chamber because it's literally part of who he is. He's been in this echo chamber. It's so attached to his cerebral, his cerebral cortex, whatever, frontal lobe cortex, he can't rip that out of his brain. He's been told for so long that was wrong, that he's like, it has to be wrong. Even if you tell me anything, it's wrong. So there's nothing that we could do. I would love to see Tank with a legit belt like WBA. No, Tim. According to Gettins, Tank is the legit champ. He is the legit champ. He don't need to fight for the other one. He has the official one. Everyone else is not undisputed. He's the only one that he has that title. Devin Haney's not undisputed at 135 because he needs he needs to go get the regular one too. He got the super, he got to go run and get the regular one. At TM, you got Tank beating Shakur whenever they fight. If I was a boxer who had a belt, and only another boxer would have the opportunity to take that belt, not organization nor promotion company, I would have rejected the franchise belt. That's super, mega, ultra duper cap. Because here's what the franchise belt gives you. Gives you an additional prestige and an ability to control your position in fighting another champion with less red tape. Because there's an entire bureaucratic process that happens with trying to be a champion at different weight classes. This gives you an opportunity to streamline. So you're going to tell me that given an opportunity to streamline your career and do things faster and fight champions faster, you're not going to take it? That's cap. You're capping. You're capping so that the narrative could continue, so that it could stay in your frontal cortex, frontal lobe, whatever, so that you could keep on saying that he ducked Devin Haney. And let's say you didn't have a choice. Let's say you didn't have a choice. Let's say you didn't have a choice and they forced you to be the maximum world champion. Would you go get your regular world title from Joe Schmo? And when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, I don't see a bridge, but I think when Floyd Mayweather accepted the super belt, was he wrong for accepting the super belt? And when he accepted the super belt, Should he have gone and fight Keith Thurman for the regular belt? Tell me. It's dumb. It's so dumb. It's like, that's the dumbest thing ever. It's like, yo, here's a thing that's going to make your career, like, that's going to give you the ability to fight the best fighters in the world faster. That's going to give you an ability to accelerate your career in terms of skipping certain things to fight the best fighters in different divisions. Do you want it? Nah. I got mad principles. I want the regular belt. You're capping. Nobody would do that. It's dumb. It's like you're giving yourself so much more control over your own career by doing that. You want to be, no, I want to go through the bureaucratic system of trying to get a belt. Every division I go to, I wanted to feel like I'm working, like I'm climbing a mountain and I'm going from square one. You're giving me an opportunity to get there quicker, but I don't want that opportunity. Why don't you try mukbangs? Quine, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk boxing. That's what we're going to do. All right, this is going way too long. Like, Guinness Game is Corner is never going. He's never going to understand. So we're going to have to end the live stream here. Hugh Jakes, hold on. Hugh Jakes, what about Frank Martin? He says he's ready for the top guys, but I disagree, especially after his last performance. What are your thoughts on this? I don't think Frank Martin is ready for the top guys after the performance that he had, to be honest. I think he loses to Tank. I think he loses to Devin Haney. I think he loses to Shakur. I think he loses to Lomachenko. And it kind of sucks because it's not even one of those things where we could be like, let's wait it out. Let's see if he could get better or whatever. He's already older than Shakur Stevenson, right? He's already kind of old. He started late too, right? He started when Shakur Stevenson started. They both started in 2017. So it's actually a tough thing, but I think that last fight he had, it shows that he might not be at that super elite level. Is he really talented? Yes, but he might not be super elite, unfortunately. But we'll have to see more fights. And some people, sometimes they have a bad night. So if he could prove it by fighting somebody better and doing better, then, you know, we could probably have a different conversation. But right now, no. So he dug Haney for perks, cool, and I get it, and you would too. You would too. You would want the maximum ultimate belt, and you wouldn't care about Joe Schmo's regular belt. They're not robots. Oh, I am this super robot that just fights for prestige of being the greatest person of all time. I'm so just like, I'm AI. I just want to be the champion. I only care about winning the best. I don't care about getting better situations for me to fight better fighters. I just want to go through every single difficult road possible. No, that's not how life works. When you're afforded an opportunity, you're going to take it. The same way Floyd took the WBA super title, which you're not saying anything about. Every time I ask you, you only say, oh, Loma ducked or whatever. So Floyd wanted his super perks, right? Where he didn't have to be fight the mandatory at the time. He wanted those perks, right? He wanted those perks. You're not saying anything about that. You just keep jumping back onto Loma because you're stuck. Your brain's stuck, man. There's nothing I could do, man. There's nothing I could do. And you ain't link. I didn't see you link the tweet. Can you link the tweet from the past? I want to see the date on it. I want you to link it so I can see the date that you said that Shakur Stevenson will beat Devin Haney in the past. I want to see it. If you can link it, that would be awesome. So I could just look at it, see that you said Shakur will beat Devin Haney. I feel like I could bet money that tweet don't exist. Yeah, because Loma moving up and down. Wait, he can move down. He's done. He can move down. Like, bro, it happens, bro. Fighters move up. Fighters move down. What do you think he's going to do if he would have become undisputed? You just keep defending it for the rest of his life? Or maybe move up and try it at 140, or maybe move back down if he's a smaller 135? Fighters move in weight classes all the time, bro. Keyshawn Davis beats Frank Martin, to be real. I think Keyshawn Davis could beat Frank Martin too, the way he's fighting. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and end it right there. My man Gettins Gaming's Corner would never take the Maximum Ultimate title. He's going to make sure he has the longest road. He wants to be 58. And a 3-division undisputed at the age of 58. He's not gonna take anything that he worked for, that he deserves, because that's not the right way. Because Devin Haney didn't get that process. That's it. That's really what he just wants. That's really what he just wants to say. Devin Haney didn't get to fight for the titles. So I'm this honorable person that doesn't want to get a maximum world title. Man, if they would have get Devin Haney. If they would have gave that to if that would have happened to Devin Haney and Devin Haney wouldn't have fought Lomachenko, I'm sure you wouldn't have said a word. You wouldn't have said one thing. I like Frank, so let him lose. Who cares if not ready? At his age, he'll never be ready. That's the problem in boxing. He could lose. I'm just saying he's not ready. And by not ready, it doesn't mean, he's not ready, therefore he should not fight them. If he fights them, cool. I'm just saying he ain't ready for them. So when he fights them, he's going to lose. Again, straw man arguments. I don't know if you know what straw man arguments mean. I don't think you know what a straw man argument means. I really don't think you know what that means. Because using an exact example of what happened in the exact same sport, in the exact same way, doesn't mean it's a straw man argument. That's not a straw man argument. Floyd was afforded the same thing. The reason he was given WBA Super, it allowed for him to be able to pick fighters that he wanted to fight. Granted, he was fighting the best fighters in the world, but it let him pick fighters that he wanted to fight, even if they were not mandatory. And the regular belt went to Keith Thurman. If by your integrity, he should have never accepted that and stayed with the regular belt and still keep fighting people that was mandatory. He should have stayed fighting Keith Thurman by the integrity of Gettins Gaming Corner, no? But you're not going to answer that question because you know that's going to create cognitive dissonance. You know that you were okay with him doing that and you never even talked about that when that happened because it was not in your best interest. You didn't care at that time. It's only now that you care so much about Devin Haney that you want to split hairs between when he's getting a title shot and when he's not. My man said he big mad. I'm not big mad. It's just frustrating to talk to somebody that literally can't understand a logical explanation. My man's just saying straw man arguments. Like, I used to debate in high school, bro. I used to debate. Like, this is not a straw man argument. This is not an ad hominem attack. It's not a straw man argument. It's not any of that stuff. This is a legitimate comparison to something that is identical to what's happening right now or to what happened with Lomachenko. My man said straw man agreements. I never said any of that. Guys, I don't think we're ever gonna get the tweet linked here. Nor do I think we're gonna get the doctor that he's the link to a doctor that stated that within a week you could get off of a cycle. We're not getting. I don't think we're getting any of that, guys. This man literally just said he didn't say something that he said like 2 seconds ago. My man literally said he did. He literally just said straw man arguments or agreements, whatever. I never said any of that. And then if we just go back literally like 5 lines. If we go back 5 lines, right there. Right there. How did you know? How do you know I say it? You don't. You're assuming. I'm assuming what? You're so confusing. You're so confusing. I'm assuming what? What am I assuming? Did Loma fight the best? No. Who was the best? Loma was the best. So who was the best? Who was the best? Did Loma fight the best? Who was the best? Who was the best? Man, I'm calling it, man, because we're gonna be running circles. This man is literally saying he didn't say things that he just said. We're not getting links to his tweet where he said that Shakur would beat Devin Haney, because that tweet doesn't exist. So we're not gonna get a link to his tweet, right? We're not gonna get a link to the docs that said the doctors that say that the researchers. We're not getting any of that stuff. None of that exists, because this man just has a one-way mind thought process, and he won't break from it no matter what. So we're going to go ahead and end the stream right here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We went super overtime, 30 minutes. I was trying to debate to logically, but there's no way to bring him to logical consistency. He will always be logically inconsistent. So we're going to have to end it now. Anyways, until the next one, guys, you know we're live every Mondays, every Wednesdays, every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time till 8 p.m. Eastern time for the most part, other than sometimes when we go into overtime like we did today. Anyways, until the next one, guys, Monday, I think, what's the fights happening this weekend? Cambosis is fighting this weekend. So we can check that out. There's the Misfits. The Misfits fight is this weekend. So the tag team, what they doing? Tag team elimination, battle royal Rumble. To see who's going to be the WWF champion. So that's happening. If you guys want to take a look at that, and then maybe we could talk about it here on Monday. Until the next one, guys, peace out. Thank you so much. And let's end with a Michael Buffer real quick, just so my brain can reset a little bit. Until the next one, guys, have a good one.